Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of July 22, Monday. I'm Riza Diaz. The 18th Congress officially opens today with representatives set to elect a new House Speaker. But it seems the race for the House leadership isn't over, despite President Duterte already announcing his top picks. To try and keep the peace in the lower house, presumptive Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano had offer for presidential son Paulo Duterte. We have Royce's Nugget reporting live at the Batasang Pambansa to fill us in with the details. Royce's, how are things there at the lower house?
Risa, it's going to be a busy and exciting morning, or Monday morning, here at the House of Representatives because apart from the State of the Nation address of the President later this afternoon, we are also anticipating the election of a new House Speaker for the 18th Congress. Session, Risa, will open at around 10 in the morning, and first on the agenda, of course, is to elect a new House Speaker. Recall that the President already named his bets for the 15-21 term, sharing at the lower house. That's Taguig Congressman Alan Peter Cayetano for the first 15 months and Lord Alan Velasco of Marinduque for the remaining 21 months. But it remains to be seen if Cayetano would be elected as Speaker, as rumors of a coup still lingered up until yesterday. No less than presidential son and Davao City Congressman Paulo Duterte had hinted of a coup against Cayetano even after the President's endorsement. Most lawmakers, however, believe that the House would respect and heed the President's wishes. To dispel coup rumors, presumptive House leaders headed by Cayetano, Velasco, and Romualdez met at an all-party caucus yesterday, which was aired live on Facebook. The meeting was attended by various leaders of different political parties and blocs in the lower chamber. All three presumptive leaders assured everyone of a friendly, responsive, and united House of Representatives. Sources also said that the meeting discussed how they will go about the voting and who will nominate Cayetano for Speaker, as well as the minority leader, who they say would be Party List Coalition President and one Pacman Representative Mikey Romero. Prior to this, Risa, Cayetano and Pulong Duterte also met over the weekend. Cayetano said he asked for Duterte's help to keep the unity among political factions in the House by being Deputy Speaker for Political Affairs, a relatively new major position in the lower chamber, which Congressman Duterte had accepted. Meanwhile, Risa, Congressman Pulong Duterte is hosting a breakfast meeting around 8 o'clock here at the South Lounge of the House of Representatives. We learned that around 180 congressmen have already confirmed their attendance in this said breakfast meeting. We don't know the agenda yet, but what we know is that presumptive Speaker Cayetano is also hosting a breakfast meeting at around 9 o'clock this morning. That's just an hour before the opening of the session. Risa.
Royces, are there any news of the representatives who will be skipping this year's SONA?
As to the list, Risa, we have been trying to secure the names of those who won't be able to attend the SONA for this year from the Secretary General's office. But as of today and this hour, we have not received any. But among the VIPs, what we know is that Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte has already rejected the invitation because of conflict of schedule, and as well as Senator Manny Pacquiao, who just had a fight in Las Vegas on Sunday. Risa.
Royces, how about the maze? Is it visible already as of the moment? Because if we would remember last year, it was reportedly missing, that caused a delay for former President Arroyo to be proclaimed.
As of this hour, Risa, the plenary is still closed to the media, so we won't have access, inside the plenary, so we won't be able to see if the maze is there. But usually, when there is no session, the maze and the gavel are not yet out. Risa.
Thank you very much. That's Royces Nugget reporting live at the Batasang Pambansa. Now let's take a look at the biggest SONA Day stories from the dailies. Philippine Star reports that President Duterte is expected to give both a legacy and a lecture type of speech in the State of the Nation address. Presidential Communications Secretary Martin Andanar says Duterte will likely highlight security and poverty efforts as well as the ambitious Build, Build, Build program. The secretary adds that Duterte may speak about law and order in general, but he can't say if the president will also mention the recent tiff with the United Nations regarding the investigation into alleged human rights violations in the government's war on drugs. But what's for sure is that President Duterte will tackle corruption, illegal drugs, rebellion, and even issues in the West Philippine Sea. Filipino Star ngayon reports that Malacanang expects Duterte's SONA to be about 2 hours long, focusing on his administration's achievements, with also some lectures on the side. And meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines is under red alert status today in preparation for the President's fourth SONA. Pangmasa reports that the AFP is on standby mode to support the PNP, who will lead today's security efforts. However, the Armed Forces clarified that they haven't received any threats from terrorist groups. Now, on the other hand, militant groups have also been preparing to stage their own version of SONA. And Hannibal Telete is live in Quezon City to give us the latest. Hannibal, good morning. All systems go na ba ang mga kasamahan natin dyan for the People's SONA?
Liza, hating gabi pa lang ay apala na ang mga militante sa paggawa ng mural at effigy ni Pangulong Duterte. Ito ay kanilang bibit-bitin patungong batasang pambansa ngayong ika-4 na State of the Nation address. Ang grupong Panday Sining ay gumawa ng mural na may mukha ng mga baboy at sa kabila naman ay mga mukha ng iba't ibang sektor na patuloy na lumalaban. Samantala, ang grupo naman ng mga magsasaka na halos 8 buwan nang nagkakampo sa gilid ng CHR na mula pa sa Mindanao ay may sarili ding effigy na ginawa. Isang dambuhalang isda na kulay pula na may bandila ng China na may malalaking pangil. Ang konsepto raw nito ay patuloy na pangangamkam ng China sa West Philippine Sea at ang pananamatala sa mga mangisdang Pinoy na inagawan ng teritoryo. Gumawa rin ng isa pang effigy ang mga militante at nagpapakita nga ng bungo ng mga tao na nakapatong sa isang malaking nicho. May nakasulat din sa lapida na 3 taon ng pagkawasak at kamatayan na ayon sa kanila ay patungkol sa panahon ng panunungkulan ni Rodrigo Duterte. Bukod sa paggawa ng mga murals at effigy ay abala naman ang ilan sa paghahanda ng mga pagkain para sa kanilang babaunin sa pagmarcha dito sa may batasan na pambansa. Kasabay ng pagsasara ng 5 lanes ng northbound Commonwealth Avenue ay nagtayo na rin ng entablado ang mga militanteng grupo para naman sa kanilang United People's SONA. Ngayong alas 8 ng umaga ay magsasagawan ng programa ang grupong kadamay sa harap naman ng Quezon City Hall at National Housing Authority na nagpalipas naman ng magdamag sa UP Diliman. Alas 8 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga, inasang darating ang mga militante mula sa Southern Tagalog, Central Luzon at mga magsasaka. Magsasagawa rin sila ng programa sa harap ng Commission on Human Rights. Alas 11 ng umaga, magtitipon-tipon naman ang grupong Bayan at Movement Against Tyranny. Lalawak din dito ang mga militante at mga magsasaka mula naman sa may CHR. Riza, 1:30 ng hapon ay tutulak na patungong batasan ng mga militante sa pangunan ng bagong alyansang Makabayan. At alas 3 ng hapon sisimulan nila ang United People's SONA na inaasahang magtatapos mamayang alas 6 ng gabi. At Riza, bigyan lang kita ng konting update dito sa traffic dito sa bahagi ng Commonwealth Avenue northbound. 2 lane na lamang ang nadadaanan ngayon ng mga motorista dahil nga sarado ang 5 lanes ng Commonwealth Avenue northbound dahil nga sa itinatayong entablado ng mga militanteng grupo sa ngayon. Riza?
Maraming salamat. That was Hannibal Telete reporting live from Quezon City. Now, with the Senate composed mainly of the administration allies, Senate President Tito Sotto is confident that passing priority bills will be easier this time around. Mayan Los Baños is live at the Senate to give us an update. Mayan, good morning. What's the Senate's agenda?
Yes, Riza, it's going to be an exciting and intense 18th Congress for the incumbent and neophyte senators as they face a very busy schedule with hundreds of bills lined up for hearings and debates, including the controversial ones like the death penalty bill, divorce bill, and of course the charter change. But before that, let's take a look back at how the upper chamber performed in the recently concluded 17th Congress.
Senate President Tito Sotto has been in the Senate for more than 2 decades now, and in his long years of service, he claims he was able to work with all kinds of lawmakers, including the many veterans who worked in the upper chamber through the years. The current Senate setup is actually filled with young lawmakers, but Sotto said this did not make his job as Senate President any difficult. He said it also helped that even the opposition bloc was cooperative with his leadership.
I can say that. I was not stressed at all. As a matter of fact, perhaps the minority was very helpful, particularly the minority leader, Senator Franklin, was very. He knew how to scrutinize, but also he knew how to cooperate. So it was, and we're old friends. We're the two longest members of the Senate, so we understand each other.
Among the most controversial and difficult issues that the chamber had to resolve in the past Congress was the huge delay in the 2019 national budget. But Senate President Sotto stood his ground and said it was never the Senate's fault why the passage of the budget was delayed this year.
Hindi totoong maarte ang Senate, mas mabusisi lang kami. And we have members of the Senate that practically hate pork barrel and lump sum appropriations. And that's the reason that it takes some time for the Senate to go through 3 thick books of a budget for the entire country.
Sotto, however, admitted that there were indeed bills that they failed to pass in the last Congress. These include the controversial death penalty bill, which he wished could have just been brought to plenary for at least a debate.
I would have been given a bird's eye view of whether we will be able to pass it or not, depending on the debates and how the senators would be convincing each other. And that will give me a better direction for the 18th Congress.
So now that they're opening a new Congress, Sotto said among the possible measures which they will start to hear is a death penalty bill. Sotto believes it now has a fair chance of being heard in the committee level and might even reach the floor for debates since there are more senators now who are allies of the president. But this early, Senate Minority Leader Drilon already warned that he and his bloc will do all they can to oppose this measure.
But we can also assure you that we will leave no stone unturned in raising all the arguments that we believe must be made public so that the suspension on the death penalty is not lifted. I was the Senate President when we imposed the ban on death penalties, and I have not seen any change in the situation then to merit the reimposition of the death penalty.
But Sotto is prepared with an alternative bill should death penalty meet a dead end in the Senate.
An alternative is already filed also. And this is establishing a national prison for high-level drugs offenders. Ihiwalay na natin sila. Sa isang island kung saan na bakanting island, may mga pating sa paligid at walang cell site. Walang komunikasyon. Yan ang plan B ko. Iiwalay natin sila para hindi makapag-operate.
Another controversial bill filed for the 18th Congress is a divorce bill. But Sotto thinks this measure would have to go under long and heavy debates.
Mahabang debate sa Senado to, I'm sure. But the important thing is that we take it up and we can get the sense of the members of the Senate if it's going to pass or not.
Because we know you as a conservative, sir, hindi mo naman haharangin tong divorce bill, sir.
Hindi, wala akong planong harangin yan. As a matter of fact, there are many people who are friends of mine, relatives who are lobbying already.
Another thing the senators would have to attend to this Congress is the charter change, because no less than President Duterte has been appealing for both chambers to take this up. Recently, the president's bet for House Speaker Alan Cayetano even suggested for an extension of terms for congressmen or else cut the senator's term from 6 to 3 years. But Sotto responds,
You cannot give what is not yours. No one owns the Senate. The Constitution owns the Senate. The people owns the Senate. So it's, perhaps he said it in jest. And
Are you okay with that, sir? If malilesen yung term ng senators?
no, impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible for any senator to agree.
Actually, sir. True.
Yes, Riza, the Senate has 3 years ahead of them before the presidential elections for them to fulfill their promises to the nation and attend to the legislative agenda, not just of the upper chamber, but of course of President Duterte. The public will also see for themselves at how the neophyte senators will work with and survive the battle on the floor with the seasoned and veteran senators. Riza?
Thank you, Manlos Baños, reporting live at the Senate. One of President Duterte's strongest allies, Senator Manny Pacquiao, will miss the SONA. The people's champ wanted to return to the country in time for the event, but he was advised to stay in Vegas for a while. Pacquiao suffered an injury in his left eye following his fight with Keith Thurman. The senator is still scheduled to take a flight back home to the Philippines later today, but that won't be enough to make it on time at the Batasan. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us for One News Chief Correspondent Ed Lingao later at 10 in the morning for the continuing special coverage on the opening of the 18th Congress. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.